Come see us do stand-up in Baltimore, Hartford, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, and San Jose, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for the tickets. Guess what? Bombshell, Kurt. Breast cancer bombshell. UK deaths from disease set to rocket by over 40%. It's a mystery surge in under 50s. Continues to baffle doctors. Hey, how much big pharma money does it take to baffle a doctor?
Not as much as you would have thought.
Right? Baffles.
About $750 a head?
Baffles doctors. You're really baffled, huh? You should watch John Campbell's YouTube show. Breast cancer deaths in the UK are set to soar by more than 40% by 2050. I wonder why.
Oh, is this that turbo cancer that we were warned of by that other guest?
I wonder. Just over 12,000 women lost their lives to the disease in 2022, yet this is set to hit more than 17,000 by 2050, with thousands more cases in Britain than previously estimated. The data also, I wonder what it could be. I wonder. The data also showed patients in the UK are more likely to die from the cancer than women in America.
Oh, it's probably misogyny.
I'm going to guess. Experts from the International Agency for Research on Cancer, part of the WHO, examined cancer data from over 50 different countries, including the UK. They blamed a rising and aging population. But didn't this say under 50s?
Yeah.
A mystery surge in under 50s.
Everybody's aging, so I guess so.
So I don't know what the hell that means.
Oh, they need more immigration, probably.
Oh, on the projected surge in cases and warned health officials it was vital to act now. Well, what are you going to do? What kind of acting? We're going to act like we don't know what's happening. We're going to act like we don't know where it came from. It comes as concerning research has suggested breast cancer cases globally are rising in under 50s. It's an alarming phenomenon. Baffled. Baffling doctors. IARC scientist and study co-author Dr. Joan Kim said every minute 4 women are diagnosed with breast cancer worldwide and 1 woman dies from the disease, and these statistics are worsening. There's a lot of stuff surrounding breast cancer diagnosis that people should... I think the Midwestern Doctor did a Substack on this. And there's some speculation that overdiagnosing of it is a big problem. And there's a big problem with the way when you go in for the breast cancer screening, there's speculation that can also contribute to cancer. Right?
Yeah, and I think they also suggested underwire bras.
Well, there's a whole book about that. There was a book written about how underwire bras, there's a correlation, and the book says there's a causation. We're not saying that, but that's what I'm telling you what this book says, between underwire bras and breast cancer.
Can I still wear it on my head, though?
I think you could wear it on your head. Right. Researchers said there were 58,756 new cases of breast cancer in the UK in 2022, and this is expected to rise to 71,000 by 2050, an increase of 21%. In 2022, there are also 12,122 deaths from the disease. This is expected to rise to 17,261 by 2050. That's a jump of 42% in deaths. I wonder what could be going out wrong, haywire with your immune system. What could be causing these cancers? Did we do anything different in the last 4 years? I don't.
No, nothing that I can think of.
Was there any kind of major medical intervention that was experimental? That I can't think of anything.
There was an increase in hate speech, I remember.
There was an increase in hate speech.
A marked increase in hate speech.
Around 23% of breast cancer cases in the UK are thought to be preventable, with around 8% of case caused by obesity and 8% by drinking too much alcohol. So if 23% of the cancers are preventable, And they say 8% are caused by obesity and 8% by drinking. That's only 16%.
Okay,
So now we
what's
got
the other-
another 7% we got to make up for. But getting older is the major risk factor for any type. It's a major risk factor also for death. Did you know that? The older you get, the
Yeah.
more likely you are to die. Isn't that
the
something?
most at risk.
Largely caused by cell DNA damage accumulating over time. Well, qualia, am I right, Misha? The way people are talking about that stuff. That because it combats that. Anyway, I don't know. That's what they say. Globally, the study also found that on average, 1 in 20 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. So that's, is that 5%? Is that 5% of women? Yeah, because 10% would be 2.
Seems very high.
I'm not a math surgeon, but I can do that kind of math. I think I can. Correct me. By 2050, there will be 3.2 million new cases and 1.1 million breast cancer-related deaths per year if current trends continue. It comes as research last year suggested that while deaths from breast cancer in women have dropped by around 10% in the past decade, incidence rates are rising by 1% per year overall and 1.4 per year for women under the age of 50. And here comes a kook. Here comes this size. So this guy, Dr. Cole, by the way, he's an Idaho-based pathologist whose license was restricted in Washington State after he allegedly spread COVID misinformation. You know how they say Dr. Pierre Corey, Dr. McCullough, Dr. Robert Malone. A lot of people who got the COVID stuff right, they said we're spreading misinformation. So I wonder which category he falls under. Well, let's hear what he has to say.
There's so many people got these shots, for whatever reason. I'm not here to judge. If you got 1, don't get 2. If you get 2, don't get 3. If you got 3, don't get 4. If you never got 1, please don't get 1. And here's why. Because the amount of autoimmune disease we're seeing, the amount of inflammation in the hearts of healthy young people that we're seeing, the amount of neurologic damage and harm, Parkinson's, exacerbation, worsening of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, and, to bring the monster in the room, cancer is on the uptick. And it's not me just saying, my job as a pathologist is to observe patterns. And if I see something, I say something. And what do you hear in the airports when you travel? If you see something, say something. Well, I did, and I still am. It's not just that these COVID shots are bad. It's anything with the lipid nanoparticle mRNA technology shot is not proven to be long-term safe. So it's this whole platform that we have. So we're in trouble.
Well, let me just say that the COVID shots are super safe and effective. So I have to contradict him on that one.
Yeah, if you got 2, get 3.
Yeah,
if you got 3,
get 4. If you got 5, gets 8.
10's even better.
You should be on a number 10 or at least 10 or 11 right now. So I could contradict him on that. But I don't think there is any long-term study. He's right about that. There's no long-term studies. Long-term meaning 10 years or more.
Oh, well, we'll see in a few years.
Well, we'll see.
Study will have been done on you.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even look at it like that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Save money on studies by just doing it on you.
Seeing steady rises in all these chronic diseases that I mentioned, and you mentioned, Greg. And unfortunately, the cancer statistics, I saw an early warning sign when these shots rolled out. I was the first one in the world to go public with it and said, hey, yeah, I did. And yeah. And at that point, I knew. I said, look, we have immune dysregulation. You want a healthy immune system. These shots suppress the immune system. Dr. Fossa out of the Netherlands, when he looked at the Pfizer vaccines in studies, showed that it was altering the way your immune system works. That's not good. It puts your T cells to sleep in a manner that they can't fight. And T cells are basically the Marines of your immune system. They're the frontline warriors. And all day long, you and I sitting here right now, anybody listening, we have about 30 billion T cells circulating around in our body. And they're shaking hands and talking to your cells. Hey, are you a friend? Are you a foe? Are you infected? Are you a cancer cell? What do we do with you? And so it's just knocking on the door, checking all the time with all your cells. Well, these shots, instead of having those be hardy, on the front line, healthy soldiers, it makes them kind of drunk and go back to the barracks and go to sleep. And now they can't do that surveillance exactly to fight cancer. And so people ask, well, do these shots cause cancer? Well, they cause immune suppression. They cause a disruption and a dysregulation of your immune system that normally is what would fight cancer. So that's what we're up against.
So I got to say that's all crazy talk. But you should go see Dr. John Campbell's channel. He talks a lot about this. And, those COVID shots are safe and effective no matter what this guy says. And
it sounds like he said that it's AIDS in a syringe, is what he just said.
And it doesn't matter that there's no long-term studies. Dr. Fauci and the FDA, which is pristine, there's no corruption in the FDA or the CDC. They say it's safe and effective. So it doesn't matter if there's no long-term studies. Doesn't matter what the Cleveland Clinic study found. Doesn't matter, even though you can't find that study anymore. It's been suppressed. I would tell people, go, whatever you do, don't look up the Cleveland Clinic study. And then people say, I can't find it. It's suppressed. But again, Dr. John Campbell, he talked about that T cell thing, he said. Dr. John Campbell had an expert on talking about the T cell suppression. So go. I would say, and he's on YouTube still. So they have. If you go to his Wikipedia page, it looks just as bad as mine. Isn't that funny?
He's on YouTube though.
Yeah, he's still on. But they did F him a couple times, just like they F'd me once.
Yeah, well, that head lady maybe should have listened, huh?
Yeah. What the? Yeah, the former head, the CEO, of YouTube. Did she die of cancer?
Of the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment for childhood compliance.
Yeah,
and she became the head of YouTube.
So, again, we're not giving medical advice, and we are. I just brought you this for informational purposes. Just to show you what some people are saying. Of course, he's incorrect because the FDA and the CDC, Dr. Fauci, and the WHO, which is also pristine, even though it's run by a guy connected with terrorism and isn't a doctor, doesn't matter. The WHO is fantastic, and even though most of their
Dr. Tedros is not a doctor.
Well, he's a doctor of veterinary medicine.
Oh, another vet, like the great Borla.
Yeah, like isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? It's almost like veterinarians are much easier to. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though. They get them all. They're all corruptible. They're all corruptible.
Hey, of course they're going to be veterinarians if they look at you as less than human.
So yeah. So there you go. So I just wanted to the breast cancer skyrocketing, predicted to skyrocket. The deaths from it are skyrocketing. And whatever you do, don't listen to what he said. Whatever you do, make sure you listen to the CDC and the FDA when they say get your booster, especially if you're pregnant.
I'm on my 16th booster. I don't even know if they're recommending that, to be honest, but I stopped doing research a long time ago.
I'm not doing my own research.
Last I heard, full steam ahead.
Come see us do stand-up in Baltimore, Hartford, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, and San Jose, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for the tickets.